so Hanuman said, I will. He jumped on the wall and jumped back down. And he was so full of anger at Ravana because of how upset Sita was, he made himself into a giant monkey. And he started pulling up trees and throwing them on buildings. And at first the people were kind of amused and, oh, but Hanuman kept on pulling up trees and pulling up more trees and destroying Lanka. And soon Ravana sent his soldiers to get him. And Hanuman allowed himself to be tied up with ropes and brought to Ravana because he wanted to check out how strong Ravana really was. And Ravana said, why have you come? Why are you destroying Lanka? And Hanuman said, release Sita, and Rama will spare your country. Ravana was outraged at this, and he ordered that Hanuman be executed. Now, one of his aides next to him said, is that what you do in the rules of engagement? We do not kill the messenger. And Ravana said, I don't care! I want you to wrap his tail in oily cloth and set it on fire. When Hanuman heard this, he made himself so big and his tail was so long he had to scour the kingdom for enough cloth to do this. But they found the cloth, they soaked it in oil, and they set it on fire, and Ravana said, now, set him free. And Hanuman was running through the streets of Lanka with his tail on fire. People were laughing at him. Oh, look at the kid with the tail on fire. Oh! But Hanuman started jumping up on rooftops and waving his tail around. And he set fire to 2/3 of Lanka. He burned down. And then he jumped into the sea to take out the fire. And he went straight to Rama and told him where Sita was. Rama gathered up all his troops. Hanuman gathered up his monkey troops. And they went to the edge of the forest. Now, it was way too many folks for Hanuman to be carrying on his back. So, Hanuman and the monkeys picked up these huge boulders and threw them into the sea. And they picked up more huge boulders and threw them into the sea until they made a pathway all the way from the coast of India to Lanka. And the troops marched, getting ready for battle with Ravana. Now Ravana saw all this happening, so he sent a lot of magical creatures to come and try to stop them, but they were all thwarted by Rama and Hanuman and Lakshmana. Finally, they reached Lanka, and there was a great battle, and many monkeys died. Many of the animals died. Even Lakshmana was mortally wounded. Luckily, Rama had brought some doctors with him. And the doctor said, well, we need the fluid from one of the plants from a mountain in the middle of the forest. And Hanuman said, okay, I'm on it. I'm going to get it. So he makes himself a giant. He crosses over the sea. He goes to the middle of the forest, and he finds the mountain, but he can't find the plant. He looks, and he looks, and he looks, and he gets so frustrated, he rips off the mountain, and he takes it back to Lanka and sets it in the middle of Lanka and tells the doctors, look for the plant. They find the plant, and Lakshmana is revived, and he can fight again. But the battle raged on, and finally it came down to Rama versus Ravana. Now, Rama is like shooting arrows and shooting arrows and shooting arrows at Ravana. But it seems like the arrows are not working. So Rama tries to aim at one of the heads. But every time his head was shot by the arrow, it would grow right back. So Rama could see that Ravana was indeed invincible. Finally, Hanuman came up to Rama and said, why don't you use your magic spear? And Rama said, oh yeah. He gets out that spear and he aims it right at Ravana. Ravana is getting closer and closer. And Ravana, all 20 hands, has a weapon in it. And he throws the spear, and Ravana gets hit right in the chest. And he falls down to the ground. But he doesn't die. He's basically stunned and pinned down to the ground by the spear. But Rama takes this, I opportunity to go get Sita, and everybody withdraws, and they cross that big pathway of boulders. They come back to the forest, and they meet a messenger. It's a messenger from Bharata, Rama's brother, who had taken over the throne. 14 years are up, and Bharata would be very happy to give his throne over to Rama. So Rama and Sita and Lakshmana return to Ayodhya, and Rama sits upon the throne, and everybody's rejoicing with a little bit of hesitation. Because the villagers are like, Sita spent all that time with Rama now. What did she do? Was she true to him? Because Sita had spent quite a long time. People were kind of suspicious of this. You know, is she still the pure and wonderful Sita that she was before she left? I mean, what can happen when you are alone with a man with 20 arms? So, Rama heard this, and he didn't want any problems to happen in his country. So he banished his own wife. He banished Sita from Ayodhya. And she tried very hard to prove to him that she was honest and true to him. She even walked through fire. But the only time she'd never ever returned to Ayodhya, she gave birth to twins. And the twins were allowed to go to Ayodhya. And they sat by Rama and helped through. The song is a Hindu song, and it is all the different names for Rama. And it also asks God to bless Sita.
Alright, so guys, we're now heading to Vietnam to meet Lorena Dorothy, who is the reason that we're all having some amazing stories today. Come on, guys. So not only does she put together events like this, she also is a photographer, a storyteller, and a performance artist. And today she's going to be telling us why ducks sleep on one leg.
In a far-off rice paddy were three very